Good morning, and welcome to Redeemer Lutheran Church. I'm Pastor Gary Lode-Holt. Just last month, we were able to watch as the Roman Catholic Church chose a new pope. Frankly, I had been very impressed with the one who had died, Francis, particularly for his humility and care for the poor and marginalized of society. While what a pope says is not binding on me, I do honor the Pope as one of the significant world leaders in Christianity. I was intrigued by a comment I heard someone make as we anticipated the conclave, however. Someone said, "We are not choosing a successor to Francis. We are choosing a successor to Peter." St. Peter was considered as the first pope, and each pope is intended to follow in his footsteps. That's quite the calling. This week we are looking at the lives of people the Church remembers and commemorates during the month of June, and you might be surprised that one person our Lutheran Church honors this way is Pope John the 23rd. Now let me say right up front that there is no way I can include everything I have learned about John in today's episode. He led quite the life of faith, being involved in many, many important things. But let me just hit some highlights. He was born in northern Italy in 1891, the third of 13 children. By age 12, he was studying and came under the influence of some more progressive teachers in the Roman Church, and that may have shaped some of the things he did later. He left his studies for a year to volunteer in the Italian army, then went back to seminary and got his doctorate. He was ordained in 1904. After that, he was appointed as secretary for the new bishop and learned forms of social action and gained an understanding of the problems of the working classes. Again, this may have shaped his later views as pope. During World War I, he was recalled to the army and served in the medical and chaplaincy corps. Not long after, he was called to Rome and made director of the Society for the Propagation of the Faith in Italy. In other words, he oversaw all of the church's evangelism efforts in Italy. By 1925, he was an archbishop in Bulgaria and faced with a particularly vexing problem. A controversy about the nature of God had been raging in the church since at least the 300s, and roughly about 1,000 years ago, the church went through a major split into Eastern Christianity, often called Orthodox, and Western Christianity. The Christianity that you and I know is Western Christianity, and discussions are ongoing still about how we might mend the rift and bring Christianity back together. Well, in Bulgaria, both churches were present, and people felt strongly about their own side, and John was in the middle, trying to handle the struggle. Then he went to Turkey and fostered harmony among various national groups there, and eventually introduced the Turkish language in worship and official documents. He also made several conciliatory gestures toward the Eastern Church and met with their patriarch. During World War II, Istanbul was a center of intrigue and espionage, and John gathered and passed on information helpful to the Allies and helped Jews fleeing persecution. At age 64, he became nuncio to Paris, where he sought to heal divisions after the war. He became a cardinal at age 72 and gained much affection from the people as he visited parishes, cared for the working classes, developed new parishes, and new forms of social action. When he was almost 77, he was elected pope. Many thought he would be something of a caretaker in the position, but his energy and drive surprised onlookers. Rather than a transitional pope, he had a spirit to reform the church. He expanded and internationalized the College of Cardinals, revised the canon law, and most importantly, called the Second Vatican Council. It's hard to overstate the importance of the Second Vatican Council that opened the Church up to many modernizations, including the Mass being said in languages other than Latin. However, the primary goal of Vatican II was the unification of Christianity, both East and West. And again, those discussions are ongoing. While he was Pope, John continued to visit in hospitals, prisons, and schools. He died on June 3rd, 1963. I understand that the new Pope, Leo XIV, chose that name because Leo XIII showed such care and concern for the poor and outcast during his time as Pope, and the new Pope hopes to do the same. Kind of like John did too. Like all Christians are called to do. Thanks for watching, and remember to let this day belong to God.